Reflection is another type of transformation where what's going to happen is there's a line that acts as like a mirror. So for example, if my mirror is the x-axis, then my original will be here and it'll flip across that axis. Same thing with the y-axis. It'll flip and be reflected across this axis. So if you're reflecting across the x-axis, your x-coordinate will stay the same, but your y-coordinate will change to the opposite sign. So if the y-coordinate is positive, it will become negative. And if it's negative, it will become positive for a reflection across the x-axis. A reflection across the y-axis will change the x-coordinate to the opposite sign. So if it's positive, it will change to negative, and negative to positive. Okay, they reflect across the line of reflection. Okay, so let's do this one here. It says triangle PQR has vertices P15, Q37, and 4 and R for -1. Graph the figure and its reflection over the y-axis. Then find the coordinates of the reflected image. So when we graph, our first coordinate is 1, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is P. Q is at 3, 7. So this is Q. And R is at 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. Okay, so here is our original triangle, and we want to reflect it across the y-axis. So it's going to flip. Instead of being in the positive quadrants, it's going to be in the negative for the x. Notice the x-coordinate will change because it's going over an axis like this. Okay, so you can either count. So since this is 1 right, we would go 1 left from the y-axis. And this one is 1, 2, 3 right, so we would go 1, 2, 3 left. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4 right, so we would go 1, 2, 3, 4 left. And this would be my reflection. This is P prime, Q prime, R prime. So you could either do it by graphing. Now sometimes the numbers are really big, so if you have a big graph, you don't really want to graph it on a piece of graph paper. You just want to change the coordinates. So if my original coordinates on this one were P 1, 5, Q 3, 7, and R 4, -1, and I'm flipping across the y-axis, my x-coordinate will change signs. So my P prime becomes -1, 5. My Q prime becomes -3, 7, and my R prime becomes -4, -1. So these would be our new coordinates, and I can graph them if I wanted, but we already have graphed them here. So if you'll notice, -1, 5, -1, 5 is right here. -3, 7 is right here for Q prime, and -4, -1 is right here for R prime. So either way works as far as reflections go. Remember that if it's across the x-axis, your y-coordinate would change.